US stocks extend gains, the Nasdaq up 1%.
Morning, good morning.
One minute remaining. Ten seconds. Bank of Canada says it also intends to join Canadian Derivatives Clearing Corporation to centrally clear its repo operations. Bank of Canada says it will join Canadian Collateral Management Service, trial party platform for domestic repo operations by early 2027. Bank of Canada says it will join Canadian Collateral Management Service platform for domestic repo operations by early 2027. Risks posed by non-banker players in global debt markets may be growing faster than our ability to understand and mitigate them, according to Governor Macklem. Macklem says global surveillance and regulatory framework haven't kept pace with changes, and risks have mitigated, not disappeared. Macklem says we worry about a shock to markets that lead to a spike in interest rate volatility. Macklem says as hedge funds take on a growing role in government bond markets, it is increasingly important that they have robust funding arrangements. Compressed risk premiums and stretched valuations in equity and credit markets raise risk of sharp reversals. Opacity of private credit means spike in defaults could cause severe strains, and including spillovers into public credit markets. Macklem says US and Israel attacks on Iran have increased volatility in energy and financial markets. There is considerable uncertainty about the duration and fallout of conflict. And Macklem says to global growth are greater than normal and are tilted to the downside.
What's up, Allie? What's up, Ben? Well, we did the full rotation. Pretty expected. We went straight to target here on ES and Q. Did our full rotation after we got back in. It's exactly what we were expecting. Again, this is the same balance that we've been trading in on the hourly on NQ. And we're rotating up into our same supply as well, into this 87 to 135. Or this 89, 140, whatever you would call it. But this supply here is what we need to flip.
Crude oil inventories forecast a build of 3 million, prior a build of 15.989 million, with a range of a build of 4.382 million to a draw of 1.4 million.
Or this is
gasoline inventories forecast
the same
a draw
as before.
of 1.979 million, prior a draw of 1.011 million. Distiller inventories forecast a draw of 2.357 million, prior a draw of 0.252 million, and Cushing inventories prior a build of 0.861 million.
You can see not much has changed. The seller is still sitting here on NQ at into our 80 to like into these highs. We'll see if they're gonna pull or what they're gonna do. NQ is pretty liquid.
We have posted Bank of
But
Canada
our
Governor
offer is
Maxim's
here
speech
into our
on the fees
90s,
for those interested.
just like before. Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to see what happens. I'd expect some selling to occur here. This is the range that I'm talking about that we've been trading in. So this is our hourly chart. This is the fixed range. We talked about this 40 to 722 yesterday. This was that big pivot that we were trading around that I said if we could hold it, we'll do that full rotation up through. We've done that full rotation now. We traded up to our mid yesterday, and then we came back down and retested our 720. And then from there, we then rotated up to our highs. This is the same supply as before as we push into this 90. Again, this is this 90 here to 140. This is where we've been seeing that same seller on the higher time frame over and over and over again so far. This is also NQADR. So I expect some selling to be here. We'll see if we flip this today and then we start to trade up into these highs, or if this is going to continue to hold and then we'll have to retest 25K. My expectation is, excuse me, is that we're going to have to retest 25K. So I'm assuming that the idea here is we'll come up into these highs and then we'll have to come back down or retest this, and then we can figure out if we want to do something like this or not. Or if this is going to, from here, flip and then
In just under 5
come
minutes'
back
time,
down.
we have the EIA crude oil inventories forecast a build of 3 million, prior a build of 15.989 million, with a range of a build of 4.382 million to a draw of 1.4 million. Gasoline
That's my
inventories
guess.
forecast a draw of
We'll see.
1.979 million, prior a draw of 1.011 million. Distiller inventories forecast a draw of 2.357 million, prior a build of 0.252 million. And Cushing inventories prior a build of 0.881 million.
Okay, so let's see what happens as we push into this. Very similar as before. See if we absorb or if we flip. I don't know.
Hezbollah says they targeted a Tel Aviv military site.
I'm assuming that ES takes out this VPOC and that'll be our high, and then we do something like this as NQ gets absorbed here, and then we figure out what we do. But just like keep this in mind. We're just watching these as our pivots. No need to preemptively short. We'll figure it out. Oh gosh, so tired.
Lebanese military says it redeployed at some border positions in light of Israeli military incursion into southern Lebanon. One minute remaining. I'll be leading with EIA crude oil inventories.
So much volume is being traded up here. Holy.
Ten seconds. A build of free spot 475 million, a build of free spot 475 million, compared to the expected build of 3 million. Gasoline inventories, a draw of 1 spot 704 million, a draw of 1 spot 704 million, compared to the expected draw of 1 spot 979 million. Distillate inventories, a build of 0 spot 429 million, a build of 0 spot 429 million, compared to the expected draw of 2 spot 357 million. Cushing inventories, a build of 1 spot 564 million, a build of 1 spot 564 million. We have posted the US EIA weekly petroleum status report on the feed for those interested.
Into our heights here at our 140, watching to see if this is where our sell side sits for a rotation back down. Got some demand below, some liquidity here. Keeping an eye on that as we push back down. ES following pathing, RTY just coming back down to our yesterday's 30-second opening, or no, today's 30-second opening range, sorry. Watching our opening range high here for retest. We have just have to build out this structure. This last 15-minute candle is a little out of control. Little out of control. POC shifting here on ES into these highs, which is insane. Actually insane.
According to the Wall Street Journal, Western officials estimate Iran likely has just days of missile strikes left. A bit more further info into this Wall Street Journal article. The number of Iranian ballistic missile launches is declining at the current rate. Tehran has only several more days of firepower from them, according to a Western official. Still, the decline might also be because Iran is holding back missiles so its operations can last longer. According to government data, the US government shed 386,826 jobs in the first year of Trump's second term.
Following our pathing pretty closely here. ES just pushing into that VPOC and then immediately selling. NQ pushing into our 140 high and immediately selling, filling this LVN here. We need to flip below 90 for any more, or this will be where the bid is as we push down into this liquidity. We've now eaten through that, watching as we push down into POC here. But just keep an eye on the liquidity as we push down. Again, just this node here. We need to flip it, or this will be where we see the buyer. Again, just following our pathing. Need to flip, or this will be where the bid sits, and then we'll just rotate back up. All right, we've now filled that node.
Qatar foreign minister gets a call from Iran's foreign minister. US crude futures hold losses as EIA data shows larger than expected build in US crude stocks. And coming from the EIA, US crude stockpiles grow in the latest week to the highest since September 2022. Qatar rejects claims that Iran attacks only target US interests.
This is just POC of previous candle here on ES, trying to flip our 75s for this rotation back down to 64. RTY looking for that lower high here at R39. Our opening range high is resistance potentially for that lower high. And then NQ held our 140s, just rotating down. Need to see if we are going to flip this 80 to 90 where this POC sits. If we can flip it, then we can rotate back down to our 25K like we talked about following our pathing.
Qatar says Iran attacks show no genuine desire for de-escalation.
Just the same supply as usual, no change. Let's see what we do.
Brent crude futures hold losses after
It's a great
EIA data
first risk
shows
off
larger
if
than
you are
expected
trading
build in
this
US crude
into
stocks.
POC here on NQ. See if we can flip for the full rotation down to 25K or if this holds. Again, this is POC of our previous 15-minute candle here on NQ. Now that we've gotten our rejection of our 140.
Qatar says Iran strikes seek to drag neighbors into the war that's not theirs.
Bid resting at 70s, offer trying to step down here at 75s.
Qatar says Iran attacks reflect no goodwill towards its neighbors.
We watch for the reversion down into here.
According to Nikkei, Honda to import China-made EVs to bolster Japanese lineup. According to the Qatar Prime Minister post on X, Iranian Foreign Minister indicated missile attacks directed at US interests and not at Qatar. Qatar Prime Minister categorically rejects the claims.
Categorically.
Coming from Maersk, saying we are temporarily suspending cargo bookings, acceptance in and out of the UAE, Oman, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia until further notice. US gasoline futures little changed after EIA data. And Maersk further saying still accepting cargo to and from Jordan and Lebanon.
10 seconds till new 15s. Holding below POC of previous candle so far on NQ. Watching for a re-offer or a sweep through. Just got no structure here. So we should be a pretty quick move if we're gonna do it. Just a complete lack of structure. We push back down into 030 to 25k. 030 should be your first risk off. This is our edge here and our value. We push down into this, and then secondaries would just be this.
According to Libya's maritime rescue agency, Russian gas tanker Arctic Metagas sank near Libya's coast following explosions and a fire.
It's your first risk off. You're playing off of that edge on the flip of our zone. Well, this played out pretty well. Called the highs so far off of our structure from our higher time frame. Same supply as before. Yes, just tagging into that VPOC, rotating back down to our 30-second opening range and our ETH high and our VWAP, etc. Retesting POC here of our previous candle.
Maersk says Jeddah and King Abdullah ports in Saudi Arabia and Salah in Oman remain operational.
Again, like this is like a very clear rotation that we're doing. It's the same fucking supply. Like, it's the same trade. It's the same everything. It's the same. We're trading in balance. So it's pretty easy to predict based off of all previous information. Right? Like, this isn't new. This is just our 140 to 90. Same as before, where we've been seeing this supply. If we flip this, then we can get something new. If not, we're rotating back down to 25k, right? There's your 30s.
Qatar Prime Minister stresses that Qatar has always been inclined towards dialogue and diplomacy in good faith.
RTY holding our 30-second opening range edge as resistance. Trading back down to our mid. I'm looking for that full rotation down to our low, ideally, if it's going to do the full move.
Seeing US Central Command post on X saying US forces have struck or sunk to the bottom of the ocean more than 20 ships from the Iranian regime last night.
It's crazy. Like, actually at war. Kind of nuts. I'll be right back. Just watch our reoffer at 75s here on ES as we push in to the supply here. We just got to watch this retest of our pivot. We've taken off 2/3 of our risk off of this push down. We're watching to see how we interact here. POC of our previous candle and this value. Just pushing into this supply here from the other side. See if we get that rotation back down for the last leg, or if this is going to hold and then we'll rotate up. I don't have an answer for you. We'll see what we do. Lots of absorbed participants above 100. Sorry about that. Again, just pushing into our 100 to 140 here where that supply sits. See what we can do. This is just a ton of offsided traders. POC of previous candle sits at 140 itself. Don't really have a ton here until we see what we're going to do. We traded down into first target, found bid, now watching to see if we can flip or if we trap and then do one more leg down to 25K. Unsure. We can see POC is trying to shift here at our 80. RTY retesting highs. Yes, retesting our Globex POC. Watching to see if we put in a lower high here or what the move is now that we've done the full pathing on ES. POC attempting to shift here on NQ like we talked about on the flip. I don't know if this is going to be a trap or if this is going to be able to hold and then we take out highs over 140 from this point now that we've retraced half of this candle. Again, there's nothing but sellers up here, but I don't know if that is going to hold true. All we know is that we have to flip over these highs and show it as a supportive hold for me to care. Or we're just going to hit our head as we push up into this 100 to 140. Holding so far on flip. RTY new high. Diverging from ES and NQ. And remember, NQ, our POC of previous candle, sits at 140. So as we push into this, we're watching to see if sell side sits there or if we can flip and hold on our push. We have 40 seconds until new 15s. Offer sitting at 130. New PVZ zones. New 15s. Where would you keep your stop if we get below that? Oh, I mean, like, sorry, I didn't see this, but the yellow zone is your risk. That's the entire point. So, like, again, like, this is, like, if I draw a zone, it's because that's the risk, right? That's like that's what the zone means. It's so I don't have to then put a risk profile on the things that I'm talking about. We can just play the zone. So when I say like watch to see if we flip our zone, it's because this is resistance and then it's supportive on our flip, right, Hallie? So like that's what I mean. That's a very common thing that I talk about. So when I draw what I draw into our 140 and then we flip our zone, that's because I'm then using this as our risk for our downside. ES retesting highs, VPOC taken. This is ADR on ES as well as our supply up here. NQ trying to build above our 140s once again. Let's see if we can do it or if this is going to continue to fail. Looks okay so far. Buyers really trying to step up here over 140. Should have like 50 points in us if we can hold 40s. Just up into that supply up at 185, 200. Just got to see if we can do it. They're trying. Very two-sided. Lots of sides being taken in. Still a failure here at our highs. No sustainability above. Looks like a rotation down to 80s to me. We retest this 40 on offer. 80 very likely. There's just no desire above this 140 whatsoever still. Yes, holding our highs, no change, ADR. Let's see what happens as we retest into this sweeper that we just saw on NQ. You can see like this POC and these buyers are just all offsides now above. Watching for a lower high here, potentially on NQ with Russell. Watching something like this. As we push down into this 100 to 80, this is just your first risk off. If you're playing the lower offer from our 140 on the look and retest following pathing. This is our yellow zone, just like before. Just a structural retest off of another failure here above. ES also into our 75s, which is our first target as well. This 75 just like 73. This is value of previous candle. Again, tons of deltas there at that 80. Watching to see as we interact into that. What if we're going to get more or if that's that. looking for exact levels is just not the move. Sell into areas, buy into areas, right? Just play our pathing. Allow runners to run. This is value of previous candle here and our push into our target. RTY retesting our 30-second opening range after putting that lower high in after our sweeper. Once we see sweepers like that, it's always worth looking for that reoffer for that secondary leg. We can see that across the board. That's how we figured out that we were going to get that. Once we have that buyer who's off sides into our highs, then we look for that seller to try to continue that pressure down, right? Does that make sense? So our first target is always going to be that rotation back to our value high. Our secondary target will be the POC of the previous candle, right? So 80s was our first target because of that. And then our secondary target here is 50s if we don't see the strong reaction. And then we'll see what we do. But with this offside liquidity, I don't expect this 50 to hold indefinitely. I would expect us to take out the lows, right? Because we've trapped into our highs. I'd expect our wick lows to be taken. That's okay. There will be another opportunity. But it was a very sensible trade once we started to see that liquidity above 140 getting absorbed. And then our seller stepping down on the secondary move. Again, this is a very clear higher time frame zone. I can't reiterate that enough, that until we see a clear willingness to hold above, our seller still sits here at our 140. It's just the same range that we've been trading in for 3 weeks. Not even 3 weeks, for an entire month. All of February. Now that I'm looking at it. $20 till new 15s. RTY retesting our 30-second opening range high. This is our resistance for the lower high. ES retesting our 75s on reoffer. NQ just retesting our pivot here. still holding our lows here. Yes, still holding POC to value of previous candles. RTY is still bouncing our ORM. NQ still really unwilling to put in this lower high here. We need to see them shift value here at this 80 to 105. If we can hold a lower high here, should be able to trade down to 25K. If we continue to just absorb into the same lows and we can't flip this, then we just continue to rotate in the rectangle. That's pretty much all I can say. I'd like to see this 80 to 105 hold, but we need to see us shift down, or we're just going to trade again at these lows and rotate right back up. See if we can put in a lower high, or if they want to do another range rotation. ES bouncing off our lows, pushing back into 75s. RTY pushing back into our ORH. Watching to see if we put in another lower offer, or a continuation down, or if we continue to trade within this range. ES rejecting 75s, NQ still trading within our opening range. NQ, little look above. Nothing really here. Just back to our offer. I'm really not interested in anything until we either sustain over this 140 and show it as supportive, or trade back down to 25k first to do the VWAP retest and look for liquidity. Until then, it's just a range. New 15s. Lord. RTY into our 30-second opening range high. ES still just battling at the 70. Looks like a rotation back up to POC here at 82. NQ no change, just chop. Just trading in a rectangle. Inside after inside candle. Yes, back to our 82 POC here. Again, this is just where we trapped liquidity before. Again, NQ just trading into our 140, same offers before. There's no change. We're trading in a range. There's no desire yet to push above. What's up, club? Offer held, no change. Just rotating back down to our 105 to 80. Yes, held our 82, no change. Rotating through our range. RTY held our 30-second opening range high, no change. High is taken on NQ. Yes, just into our pivot high here. see if we can get follow through, or if we just absorb again and then rotate down. Minute 30 on this candle. Held our 105 on retest off of the flip, and failure to hold below once again, rotating up into highs. We need to see a sustained build above here, or we're just going to see another trap and then a sweep, and then we play the secondary move, just like every other attempt. So what am I talking about by that? We see this slow grind up, and then we see in the close of the new 15s a trap above, and then we see a sweep down, and then we see a secondary or a reoffer that allows us to take a trade in a direction. We are watching again. We have a minute left, 45 seconds left on this candle. We'll watch to see if we can sustain above, close above, and show interest here, or if they're going to absorb again in this tail and then rotate us back down. I don't have an answer for you. We'll see. I'm just playing secondary reactions. Us closing here for 30 seconds above on our higher time frame pivot means literally nothing to me. We need to see a sustained bid and a showing outside, or we're just going to absorb here again and then rotate down. Full rotation here on ES in our range. New 15 is opening now. RTY retesting on 30-second opening range high. Yes, holding our top of range, no change. Watching to see if we put in a lower high here at 82s off of that sweeper that we just saw, or rotations back through. That being said, NQ is attempting to bid here at 140, so far absorbing sellers. Watching to see if we hold. It's just a retest. We're watching to see what we do here. Are we going to put in a lower high after that sweeper down? Are we able to hold our pivot? I don't know. I don't have the answer for you yet. We'll see. Very slow. Working through this area is incredibly important for the market. Good hold of our 140 so far. Ooh, excuse me. What do you mean? What do I don't know. I don't know what that means. What do you mean by detailed information? I mean, it's literally the details. That's the that's the entirety. It's the entire purpose of Footprint. I would hope so. That's what I talk about 90% of the time. You know, that's how we come up. This is a footprint chart that where we develop 90% of our levels off of. Reading the numbers. You don't need to read the numbers. You don't need to read the numbers to know what absorption looks like. %90 of you, that's going to just be something that's going to get in your way of trading. Just look at where the POCs are on each candle. Do we have trapped liquidity above or below? How are we reacting based off of that? Are buyers being trapped above our zone or not? Do we have a right side of V? Are we holding POCs as supportive on each upside candle? Do we have clear trend? Yes or no? What happens in the POCs and these highs on the close of each candle? Have we shown any interest in any sort of trend, or are we absorbing on either side of our zone? Right? Like, don't like I don't understand. The numbers, you don't need to worry about those whatsoever. I've tried to simplify this as much as I can for you. At no point have you heard me talk about the deltas on each candle. Holy shit, this market. The sideways action on NQ was a waiting game, wondering if Footprint could provide any other detail. I don't know what you mean by detail. I still don't understand what you're saying. Like, what are you trying to obtain? What detail do you feel like you're missing? Do you feel like there was a trade that you missed? Is that what you're saying? Like, I just don't get what you're trying to get at. Do you think that there was something that was worth trading here? Like the way that you're talking, it feels like I get the feeling that you think that you missed something. So I'm trying to get to the root cause of that your wording because I don't understand. Holy shit. Do these highs excite anyone here? Or does this just look like the ugliest trap you've ever seen? Yes. Like, if you needed Footprint to tell you anything, it's literally that. It's that this is the worst, like, not worth trading whatsoever. No trend. Awful. No edge price action. You play secondary moves in markets like this. You wait for a catalyst. But at no point am I looking to do anything here. ES just rotating, by far the best action in our three markets that we're looking at. Just a very clear range on ES off of our previous sell from this VPOC. We're seeing the same trapped liquidity into these highs, nothing different. Remember ideal circumstances of how we want to see, what we want to see on price. What are we seeing right now? All we're seeing, Basil, is trapped liquidity into our lows and trapped liquidity into our highs. There's no trend right now that we want to be playing around. There's no structure that we want to be playing around. All we're seeing is an inability to move directionally in a way that is rational and expected, right? We're not seeing what we want when we look for areas of interest, which is a hold of our previous candle off of an impulse, a very clear higher low, right? A very clear hold of our POC to value of our previous candle. There's no structural hold that we're getting that makes sense that we would want to play around. What we're seeing is an inability to build properly with size at the areas that we care about. What we're seeing is like a very clear seller sitting up into these highs still, and we're seeing a very clear buyer sitting down into these lows, which is creating a very trappy, very choppy market. Is the trend still to the upside? Yes, but we have to work through this area and we have to be patient and wait, because this liquidity here with these POCs into our highs are telling us that this market is not something that we want to be trading. You can try trading off of our 140. It is a major level. It's a major pivot. But if we flip back through, we're headed back down to our 80, right? So you have to be very careful because there isn't a valid area to really trade around other than like understanding that this was our previous high and now we're attempting to hold, right? Like that's all you're seeing. But what we're seeing on Footprint, the detail is that there isn't a market that I want to be trading. There isn't a very clear edge to follow. What we're doing though is just building in our mother bar off of this lack of structure. We're now building in a rectangle here off of the mother bar up, right? An impulsive candle to the upside that's very one directional. We retraced, pushed back down into the POC to value of that candle, and then have rotated up off of it. If we can build above our previous sellers, above this 140, then we can look to rotate up higher. If we fail, these guys will be trapped, and then we'll look for push lower. I did not like these lows. I didn't. I was looking for a lower high on a secondary move. We played off of the 140, the look above and fail, where we got our impulse down. We played that twice, where we saw a lower high be put in. This is what I've been talking about. This is we wait for our secondary moves. So we see an initial reaction into our area, and then we play it down, right? We get a secondary move, we rotate down. We get a impulse or a sweeper through our 140s. We use that as our risk, we play it down. We were taking profit into our 80s. If we got our flip of our 80s, we got a secondary move where we could play. But if 80s don't hold and we flip, then we know we rotate right back up. 80 to 105 has been our pivot. Either it holds below and then we get our secondary leg down to 25K, or this fails, 105 goes supportive, and then we look back up again. That's been the play so far today. We've been looking for this secondary move to hold off of our first initial impulse. We have yet to be able to see it succeed. That's it. We sold into 30s off the last test of this flip. But we never got down to where I want to see price go to retest on the higher time frame. So we failed once again. We flipped 105s. 105s resulted in a bid. Again, 80 to 105 is our pivot. We are now trying to hold over our 140. 140 is a higher time frame level that I care about. If we can sustain here and start to see something, then maybe we get some expansion. I don't know. But at no point have our levels failed us. They just haven't led to expansion. They've just resulted in scalp trades, giving a directional bias. But again, like there's nothing really here that is telling me that we want to expand in a way that I want to trade. We're still just rotating on ES structurally. We're trying to sustain up here, but again, I don't like the structure that we're building. POCs into highs, it's just not it. All of this information was given to us by Footprint. Those are the details. So again, like I don't really know what you mean when you say that, other than it feels like you're missing something. None of this looks very curly overy, not trendy, right? Like this isn't a market that looks like it wants to go up higher, in my opinion. Could that change? Sure, right? Like I don't know, but all I see is people absorbing up here, and it doesn't look great. I see a curling over, and that's not a market that I want to be long in personally, right? It's the same thing here. This is not a structure that I see as bullish, where we're holding POC of our previous candle as resistance, and there isn't a very clear trend up like we did before on this push up, right? This is a curling over pattern on Footprint to me. Same thing on NQ. We are showing a lack of interest and a lack of a real bid to really do much. Can that change? Yeah, definitely. But I'm not looking to long with 3 POCs above us hitting our heads on it. Like that's crazy work. So yes, we're holding 140s, but like where are you putting your stop? I don't know. Maybe this wick low? And you're playing just this choppy area? I don't know. Show me your edge, because I don't see it. The edge I see is playing off of 80 to 105. listen, like idea wise, like this isn't the bad area to build, right? Like this still makes sense. And like I really want to reiterate that on like the higher time frame, us building here above our pivot could be very good, in fact. Right? This is where we've been seeing that sell, but we have such a dramatic sell from this area on the hourly chart on NQ that we have to push through. And this is just our local supply from these highs. So what we're going to need to do here is build out this flag, right? And then we can trade up into these highs, into this 300, 400 area. But like we need to show us a willingness to sustain here, or this is just going to have to trap. Look, we're basically going to take this liquidity that's here, and then we're going to come back down, retest, and then rotate this entire range again, right, off of a failure here. So like an opportunity will be provided. I just don't have the correct answer yet. Right? We had the correct answer for all of this. Right? All of this we were correct on. This rotation back through yesterday, this entire move. Now we're waiting in our edge, just trying to see what the hell are we going to do here. Now that we've done our full rotation through this entire area from 700 to 25K. Now we're just trapped here at this 140, right? So if we can build here, awesome. Let's look up. If we can't, right, we're going to have to come back down or retest our value edge here first, and then we can make our decision. That's what I prefer, is this retest of our 25K for our value edge. With this huge candle that we just did to the upside, I'd like to see a better retest structurally before we go higher. Do we have to do that? No. But am I comfortable looking for longs with this seller above us? Not really. Without that retest. So we're going to need to see something new that makes me feel more comfortable to be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's play this up. Because I'd want to see a much better pullback into this liquidity here first, personally, before we go. So like if we don't, then I'm gonna have to like see us move up first and then maybe retest this and then do something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. But right now, like footprint and our price action is just like not giving what I want. Right? Like this is not something that I'm really like looking forward to. We've done the full move that made sense. We are trading above our balance here, and we know that there is a big ass seller above us. So it's like, are we going to be able to hold? Right? Like this is our balance high here that we're trading into. Here, this is the best way that I can probably put this. Let me pull out another tool. Do we see this as a balance? Do we see that? And do we see how we have this upper area here where we've had the same sell sit into these highs? Right, so we have like two like pretty clear, here, let me change the color on this. We have two like very clear rotations where we have this lower balance. And what are we doing right now? Well, we're trying to build outside of this balance that we traded in, right? Like this is the rotation that we've been doing over and over and over and over again. So what are we trying to do now? Well, from this look below, we've gotten back in and we've rotated up, right? Now into these highs, we need to see, are we going to be able to sustain here and then rotate back up into this offer, up into this 340 to 400, right? Like that's what we're battling for right now. What happens if this guy fails here? These buyers fail to sustain. Well, we'll look for that offer, and then we'll look for the rotation back through, right? So like we want to be patient here because failure here results in a huge trade that we can do. Right? But like if we can sustain, then we'll look for a move like this. And this is that liquidity grab that I really wanted to see into 25K. So if we look at what I'm talking about off of this reaction here, do you see how we failed to really kind of like sustain above in this section? And then we rotated down and found this liquidity here. And then that resulted in a nice rotation up, right? We had to push down first and then we pushed up. So I'm watching for something similar here as we push down into this like 25K, 950, whatever you want to call it, if this is going to then result in another similar rotation back up to these highs. To me, that's what I see. I see a very similar move right here as we are trading right now. And the reason why we're kind of looking for that or expecting it is because there's just the complete lack of desire in these highs on footprint. Like, look at this shit. This looks awful. So I'd expect that we need to come down a little bit more first if we're going to continue to just like fail at these highs. But, you know, maybe we slow grind up and it's just awful. Well, that's fine. But I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Still just holding our 140. Yes, trading back down to our 75, middle of range, off of a failure again. NQ looking below 140 after this curl. All these guys are trapped here. I don't know what to tell you other than they're trapped like we thought they would be. Just looks awful. Absolutely awful. $140 offer, pushing back down to our 105s. Same as before. Complete failure above. ES holding our rotation. Reoffer of 82s, rotating down. 75, our mid held as reoffer, rotating down to our 66 to 61. No change in anything that we've talked about. No sustainability, no look in desire. I mean, like I said, I mean, like it's very telling that there's just nothing here other than sellers taking in size. We have no sustained bid. $105 bid, rotation back up to 140. It's gonna break over 140 just a little bit. It's testing value to POC a previous candle, but we should get a nice reoffer here. Just watch your sell for a lower high. I mean, we bounced 105 to the T. It's the same buyer as before. Now we're watching to see if this offer sticks for a lower high. Watching 82s on ES, POC retest. back into our highs here. NQ bid at 140 off of our look below. Rotation back up to highs where we absorbed last. ES back to our range high. No change. New 15s opening now. Opening at POC of previous candle on NQ and ES. Market looking slow. Yeah, it's slow, but still just upside. Not great for day trading, but very clear pivot below us at 80 to 105 that we keep bidding off of. Excuse me. Trying to hold these highs now that we've entered back into this upper balance. Yeah, I mean it's not a great market, especially compared to yesterday where we had so much speed. But to be honest, it's a necessary market. What we're doing right now is really important. Again, it just goes to what I was talking about. Like, if we can start to sustain above 140, then we can start to look up for that move up to 25,400. But it's taking effort, and there isn't like clear lows or highs that we want to be playing off of. Yes, there's like there are pivots that are playing, but the moves aren't great to get there. Nothing really solid for scalping, but it's an important area to build, especially after a day like yesterday. U.S. weapon stockpiles, particularly cruise missiles, are being depleted amid the conflict with Iran, according to Reuters. In the past 3 days, roughly 400 Tomahawk missiles have been expended, equivalent to about 5 years of supply. The Pentagon is preparing a roughly $50 billion supplemental budget request to replenish inventories and expand production of key weapons such as Tomahawk missiles. 5 years of supplies in 3 days. And they're asking for more money. NQ tough to play now? Yeah, definitely. Just know that what we're doing right now is just holding POC to value of our previous candle and just rotating up very, very slowly up to the supply above. But ES is still incredibly flat, just into our supply into these highs. Market's not going to move without RTY and ES finding interest. NQ just slow grind up. Pretty hard to play. But again, like the rotation is slowly but surely to the upside as of right now. It's just not very playable for the scalping unless you're just playing our lower edge off our pivot. The idea right now is that ZAR is looks below 140, result in rotations to this 105 to 80. If we can flip 80 to 105 and show a sustained hold, then we'll get this push down to 25k. But if it fails to sustain a low below this, then you just look for the bid above 105 for rotations back up. And then we just look for secondary legs like so. Right, it's just we only get the real downside move once we can sustain below this. Until then, this is our pivot, and we'll just continue to find a buyer and then look up. When you look at the market like that, it's a bit easier, but it's it basically means that all of your trading is around this area here, or this flip or 40s. Until then, right, like the bid is now back because we've looked above. If we can look below, then we can watch for that offer there. But because we've looked below and then held supportive, we go up. If we can look below and show it as offer, then we can go down. But it's just a play off of that right now. Yeah, I think that that's good. Or just come back tomorrow, to be honest. Later, man. I think that is a good idea. If you weren't happy with the price action from 10 to 12, then you sure aren't going to be happy with the price action from 12 to 2. Yeah, well, you didn't miss much. Guys, like I mean, this isn't a market that I really want to sit here and watch go up slowly. So I'm probably gonna head out. There's not much to do. We're just slow grinding up. We had a fantastic day yesterday. We held our pivot on our lows so far. I still think that that is your key to success today, playing around this once we can actually hold below, or this is just going to continue to bid off of this and slow rotate up. Looks fine on the hourly. Need to get over 220 for anything more, or that's where I'd expect sell side to sit for right now. I don't know. I mean, it's like kind of not worth being here. Yes, still holding our rotation. No change. Just looks awful. I'm just not really interested when we are getting, these moves in 5 seconds yesterday. Why are we sitting here now watching this slow grind? We'll have better opportunities. So, yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll wait till the new 15s that open here in 50 seconds, but I'm probably out. I think I'm about to leave, Rory. Pretty, pretty garbage market. Any trades? No, not really. Garbage. Slow grind up. We're here, Roy. Just building out this 140. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think it's worth as of right now, but maybe something changes into the afternoon. But I mean, look at the POCs off of footprint here. Like, this just looks like ass. I think the easiest trade you can do is just have a short open from 82 to 90 on ES, and you just play this back down to 75 and then 66. And same thing with ES 140s. Our big levels are 140 and then our 80 and then our 25K. I don't think that you get a real short opportunity until 80 to 105 holds offer. I think 104 is your local low right now. Price is just trying to find acceptance here above. But if we can hold, then you rotate down like so. And if we flip this, then it goes back up. That's basically what we've been talking about all today. But it's just a slow grind. I don't know. Yeah, I'm out of here. It is what it is. Not worth my time. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll post charts in chat, but like compared to yesterday, I mean, it's just so not worth. Again, I think if you're gonna trade anything, I think ES has the clearest rotation. It's just so clear. But keep an eye on our push down into our 140 to 130 here. This yellow box, see if we can continue to hold. If we can, then we go up. If this flips offer, then we rotate back down to 105 to 80. If that's something that you're interested in, right, like pathing is here. I don't think you get real downside potential until we can hold this 80 to 105. If we fail to sustain below 80, we pop back over and then rotate up. All right, Levitt's speaking now, so good luck with that. I can't be bothered.